So my name's Annabel and I'm head of practice at Collaborate. We're a social consultancy working on collaborative models of social change, and I was here talking about a joint project with Newcastle University Business School off the back of our report, A Whole New World, Funding and Commissioning in Complexity. And what I was describing was some work that we have been developing with funders and commissioners, exploring new ways, new approaches to funding which are better suited to complexity. Complexity in terms of people's lives, the issues that they are dealing with, and complexity in the systems of support and services that are there to serve them. And what we've found in this research is that there are a number of funders and commissioners trying different ways to work, which are have three particular features. So first is that this way of funding is more human in that it really values the people involved in the equation, whether that's grantee, beneficiary, frontline worker, and really believes in the intrinsic motivation of people delivering the work. The second point is that this way of funding is more systemic. It really recognises the interdependencies of different parts of the system, and people who fund this way really try to maintain system health, so i.e. Understanding the connections between different parts of the system and the impact of funding and supporting one bit, what that does to another part. And so they try quite often to form networks and communities of learning and practice that can better support that whole system. And then finally, this way of working seems to be much more adaptive and flexible, recognising that you can't account for outcomes against very narrow targets and ways of delivering, and instead you need to be much more flexible and own accountability across the system. So very encouraging trends that we're beginning to see, and the members here were particularly interested in examples of where that's beginning to emerge and what role infrastructure organisations have in supporting this new way of working, encouraging others to take this up. I suppose a lot of concerns about some of the structural issues around current commissioning practice, and particularly in procurement, where in some areas commissioners might have good intentions in terms of working much more with citizens and community groups to create commissioning contracts that are better suited to some of the complex needs, but that sometimes when that comes down to looking at regulations, that's when things become more difficult. A lot of people talked about competition being the driving culture in commissioning and procurement as opposed to collaboration, and that actually for this way of working you really need to form much better collaborative methods of working.